Hey, what's going on? Vega here from Serpent Special Forces, and I am currently trying to see if we can use the MorePowerTool or the Red BIOS editor with the RX 6600 XT to make it a little bit more efficient as far as performance. I know we can probably get some extra gaming performance, but let's see what we can do as far as the crypto mining scene. I want to tell you that right now they do have a beta program, Igor's lab. I'll have links to everything down below in the description, but here are the stable builds for not only the MorePowerTool 1.35, but the Red BIOS editor 1.07. However, they got a beta program. Obviously, please read this disclaimer. It's very important that you understand that this is a beta program, and anything you do with these particular programs, especially when done incorrectly, can wind up hurting your card. So you can go check that out. Obviously, we're going to need the latest version of AMD VB Flash, which is actually 3.20. We used 3.04 a lot in the past. But you just download it, you unzip it. When you unzip it, these are the files you get. Everything except for my batch commands of run, the command.txt, and save is all stuff that I carried over from 3.4. Those commands won't work. If I try to run it, it just closes out. And then when I try to run to list devices, it actually says that it can't see it. So from the instructions here, we got to install the driver first. So here we are. Here's the window that is asking what do we want to do. So we're going to hit I to install. Actually, there we go. I, lowercase I, boom. Once you finish with flashing, make sure to uninstall the AMD VB Flash drivers using this utility. Right now, what I want to do is I want to save the BIOS. And it just popped up a window, and it just saved it. All right, so now we should have stock ROM popping up right here. All right, so this card, the PowerColor HellHound RX 6600 XT, I am on the OC profile. It has a dual BIOS switch. So I'm going to restart the system and also back up the silent one just in case. But this is the stock ROM for this GPU. I'm going to go ahead and put it in its own folder so I can keep it organized. But once we have this right here, actually, let me go ahead and make a copy. And you can see I keep all my BIOSes kind of saved in here and stuff like that. Just keep it all organized so I know which one's what. So back to BIOS monitoring 3.20. All right, so there it is. We can go ahead and load up the RBE tool, or the Red BIOS editor tool. And just need to find it. Nope, can't do it drag and drop, so we'll just have to go to hard way, mining, AMD, BIOS modding, 3.2, there it is, open. Alright, so Red BIOS editor won't let us do anything. I may play around with that some more. Alright, so let's try the MorePowerTool. Maybe there's a way around it. Here's the MorePowerTool. We can click the drop down. You can see it still says it's 6800 in there, but it's not. So we're going to go to 6600 XT, load. Going to have to do the same thing. Go to wherever you have it stored. I like to keep everything pretty much organized. But there we go. Select. And now we have a little bit more capabilities. And from my understanding, we might be able to extend some of the limitations, and what I'm talking about is right here. So under the memory VDDCI and MVDD, we can probably pump this up, and what I'm hoping for is 1000 here instead of 850, and I think this is 1450. I want to say we might leave that at 1350 to be honest. And there was an article I read too that if I go back here, and I'll have this link in the description too. Okay, so they did 1400. All right, so they bumped from 850. So 850, 1400, and you can translate these pages in Google Chrome. But I want to see if I can apply the clocks and everything that they got for gaming to the mining world. But we don't really want to extend the limits. We want to basically make it more efficient. So let's bring that back down to 850. Okay, what did it do with the F clock? That was on the frequency. We could set limitations on the GPU. We could set the minimum voltage. So graphics says 762, but I've seen the GPU do 675 on some of my testing. So we might be able to do, maybe try doing 650 instead of 762. See how that plays out. Let's look at frequency real quick. All right, so frequency. So they bumped up the F clock from 1800 to 1980. Interesting. Everything else left the same. We save, and then we get benchmarking results. All right, I just want to make sure I got everything right. So they increased the power limit from 135 to 155. I'm not sure if we could go 160 or what. So then the GFX from 117 to, so they added 10 to that, 127. And then SOC, they went up to 25, 850, 1400. All right, so everything else, it looks like they left pretty much the same. All right, so I'm gonna save this as a new one. I'm not gonna write it yet. I'm gonna save it as a new one. And let's see here. I'm gonna put it in the same folder that I have the HellHound in. So OC limits, save. Then I'm going to, now that I have the BIOS completely back up, I can write this, restart the system, but if I wanted to go back to default, I just hit load, select my stock ROM, hit open, write SPPT or soft power play tables, and then reboot the system, and it's going to go back to whatever the stock OC setting was. But right now we have the extended the limits. Let me restart and see what we can get out of it. The system's going to be really choppy, but if you look on screen right now, we were getting 17.44 mega hash on Kapow. Let me go ahead and stop the miner, because these are the clocks that I set up based upon what Igor and team did with their tool after we wrote the SPPT. So this will benefit Ravencoin, but we were drawing almost 200 watts from the wall. 155 software, but 200 watts from the wall. And our junction temperature, or at least the hotspot temperature, got up to 88, 89 degrees. But here are the clocks. Turn the fan all the way up, basically. Max frequency of 2840, so we can hit 2800 megahertz on the core. But memory, I still couldn't go past 2300, so I backed it down to 2280, because on memory, when we go 2300, we start to get a little bit of artifacting. Really depends on which operating or what algo we're using, or what miner, a number of variables. So you have to test and tune based on your GPU. But we can definitely get some extra performance on certain algorithms that care more about the core than the memory. Now we need to see what kind of tuning we could do with the MorePowerTool by dropping the voltage down, like on Ethereum, for example. Let's see if we could go down to 650 on the voltage and still, you know, run 2280 on the mem to get that 33 mega hash. All right, so once again, a little bit choppy, but no matter what I do, voltage still stays around 662, even though I dropped it down to 550, averaging about 33 mega hash. I did at one point, let me turn this off, I did at one point get to 34 mega hash, believe it or not, with the memory up at 2300, but we were artifacting pretty hard, and the voltage just would not drop below 662. And honestly, that's what we were getting stock when we lowered the voltage. So when the core frequency is low, the voltage will automatically tune itself down. So this card is pretty much as efficient as it's going to get, even using the MorePowerTool. But I'm going to continue testing, continue playing around. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. What is your settings set up with the MorePowerTool and Red BIOS Editor? Now, Red BIOS Editor, as you saw at the beginning of the video, we couldn't really do anything or manipulate anything with it, which has been kind of the going trend with the 6000 series GPUs. But we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe there's another update, another beta version that comes out. Then maybe we'll be able to. We'll just have to play it out and see how it goes. But that's what I got for the MorePowerTool right now. It is definitely a good tool to utilize. You can definitely get some greater gaming performance or FPS, as well as kind of fine-tune your mining hash rate and efficiency, so to speak. So it's still relevant. It's still useful. It does work. You just have to play around with it based on your configuration, your settings. But that's going to do it for me today. Sorry for the long video. Please do me a favor on the way out. Hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and notification bell to stay up to date with what's going on with the channel, as well as check out some of the links down below that help support us and what we do here. Like the dogelord.com, where you can get sweet merch from either my collection, Serpent X, or my fellow brother, Savage Mind. You all have a great day. Take care. Catch you in the next one.